I had this friend, her name was Laura, and she was this very tall, statuesque blonde. My grandmother was over at our house, and there was a family wedding, and she was talking about all these eligible young men who were going to be at the wedding, I think from the other side. So they weren't related to me, or they were like very distantly related to me. So my grandmother was like, there's these nice young men and they love theater and you're going to meet them. And then my friend Laura starts coming down the stairs, and my grandmother sort of glances at her and goes, you do like boys, right? And I was like, yes, Grandma. I guess it sort of came about when I went, through adolescence. I thought about girls a lot more than I thought about boys, but I still liked boys. I had crushes on guys at school. I fell madly in love with this one guy, Aaron, and I stalked him for like a year all over the school in that sort of scary high school way, but I would still think about girls, and it paralyzed me with fear. I didn't really know how to process that, because I knew what gay was and I knew what homosexual was, but the way I felt towards girls was very different than the way I felt towards boys. Well, I knew that college was where you got to get drunk and kiss ladies, so that was like my goal. I remember there was this one night we went to this lesbian bar. There was this girl there, and she was French, and we started talking, and she bought me a beer and asked for my phone number, and I felt like the star of the football team. I don't know. I was like, I am the coolest person. She was the prettiest person in that bar, and she bought me a drink, and she never called me, but I was okay with that because I was like, I am the best, and it was such an ego boost. I've sort of overcome a lot of my bad habits, and I can talk to women, and I can talk to men, and I have the capacity to love and be loved by both. So, yay. I had a few awkward moments regarding my sexuality with my parents. It was something I was very scared of, because you did hear all those horror stories of kids coming out as gay to their parents and it wrecking families, and that can be hard to hear about, and it can be hard to sort of feel like, oh God, am I gay? I could never tell my parents. So I had just come back from 4 months in Japan for my semester abroad in college, and we were at a dinner. They came to New York to see me, and I don't know why, but I think I was thinking about coming out to them, and I resolved that I wasn't going to, that was not going to happen. And my mom, being my mom, I don't remember how this happened, but we started talking about, like, she was all of a sudden, I don't remember where the conversation got to, but all of a sudden she was saying, like, we'll love whoever you love, and, who you are is who you are, and you're our daughter, and we'll love you. And I think I made a face, and my mom, being my mom, and very perceptive, was like, what is on your mind? And I was like, nothing. And she goes, you can tell us anything. And I said, Mom, Dad, I am bisexual, and I like men, and I like women. And at that point I had dated men, but I was like, but there's a distinct possibility that sometime in the future I'll be bringing home a woman for Thanksgiving sometime. And the response was, we kind of knew. I don't know how, but they're like, we always sort of knew that you weren't completely straight. And my mom was like, we'll love you, and we'll love whoever you love. And if that's a woman, then that's a woman. And as long as you love them, we'll love them. And I just sort of laughed, like, how did you know? And it sort of, and there have been a few awkward moments here and there when I date women and sort of tell them, and they're not sure how to talk about that, but my parents have been very accepting, and that's wonderful. I think one of the most important things that I've learned since high school, since college, is that I've learned not just how to love other people, but I've learned how to love myself. I have become so much more accepting of my own body and my own desires. And I think learning to love myself and to love who I am and what I look like and how I feel and what I want is such an important lesson. I mean, sure, things haven't turned out exactly the way I sort of imagined them, but it definitely did get so much better. I guess if I had any advice for anyone, like who's young and unhappy like I was, get out, do what you have to do. Like, I would just like do anything, like get the grades you need to get work for the things you need to work for to get to the place where you can really learn how to be yourself. And it can be hard because that depression you feel, that sort of black emotional sucking void you feel as a teenager, that no one's ever going to love you or no one's ever going to like you, or can be difficult to escape. I know it was for me.